Good morning, good day, good afternoon. It's Roger Roadside here saying hello. Hello. Are we sitting ducks? And I don't mean that in the sense of some sort of really cool Native American, chief name, like running bulls, sitting ducks. I mean that in the true sense of the word. Are we stuffed defensively? I think, after this PMQs that we had today, which was again just an abhorrent. It's just so embarrassing when PMQs come on and you're talking about grown men and women literally bickering like they're in some sort of schoolyard, trying to one-up each other with some sort of fancy trending quip that will, get some sort of traction and I don't know, make them famous on TikTok or something. But one of the things that was talked about quite heavily today was defence, and not that fence, this fence. That's a terrible joke. But it's something that, I know that I brought up on this platform probably about, 6 months ago. Maybe not 6 months, but very early on. If you go back and look at some of the early videos, you'll see there was one that I brought up about, defence. And this is my fear for this country. I think for the last 10 odd years, we've been importing so many people into this country that have, don't necessarily have a deep-seated love or passion for our way of life. In fact, instead of asking them to sort of, respect our way of life and to adhere to it, we've allowed them to just continue doing their own way of life, and if they want to build something, they can build something. If they want to have a whole community, hell, take over a whole suburb, this, that and the other. We've bent over backwards, or Britain's bent over backwards, and accommodated that. So then, what is the end result of that? The end result of that is that you've got generations that, okay, they might come out and they might speak a version of British accent, but they don't think of themselves as British, and it's the furthest thing from their mind to give a shit about this country, and that's that's only one microscopic piece of this whole puzzle. But it is an element. When you no longer foster that national pride, and when you no longer build on that national pride, and you don't encourage your people to, start the next generations and to make that next generation better, and then once that next generation's done doing what they've been doing, then it's up to them to make the next generation better, and so on and so forth. We've not done that. We've not encouraged that. We've just opened the doors and we've said, listen, anyone who wants to come in, do what you want to do. Don't worry. You don't even have to speak the language. I mean, how many times? I mean, I live in the northern suburbs of London, and I could walk down probably 90% of the high streets there, and I can walk down the high street from top to bottom and probably not hear an English word spoken. And so what does that mean? It's not just me saying, oh, I'd like to hear more English accent. No, it's not that. It's that is an example whereby you've got so many people that are living here, and they might have been living here for 10 years. They might have been living here for 20 years. They might have been living here for 30 bloody years. But they still don't consider themselves British. They still don't care about the country. I as much as I don't want it to happen, but I think it'd be terribly interesting if we actually went to war with someone, to see who actually puts their hands up to say, all right, it's time to fight. Because I've got a feeling that most of the kids these days, they're taught so much to hate the history of Britain. They're taught so much to, hold on to their, wherever their original culture might be from. Hold on to that and celebrate that, and that's who you are. Even though there might be second or third generation people that have been born here. And look, it might seem like I'm sort of concentrating on that one point and labouring that one point, but it's an important point, because what it then means is you don't have that uptake of people who are interested in defending this country. So there's no one I'd like to see the stats of how many people were volunteering 15 years ago to go into the army versus now, because I dare say it'd probably be a very small amount of people. So I guess with the lack of investment, we've had various previous defence ministers and people high up in the defence forces and organisations and whatnot saying that Britain is decades behind with regards to its equipment, its platforms, its vehicles. We're just stuffed. And look, it's not like this is just a one-off thing. It's not like everything else is working fine, but this one area is a bit stuffed. It's the same thing as the NHS. It's the same thing as the public transit system. It's the same thing as the roads. It's the same thing as the school system. It's the same thing as the crime on the streets. It's the same thing as mortgage rates. It's the same thing as businesses being unsuccessful and being made to fight with both hands behind their back. It's the same thing with the cost of living and all that sort of stuff. It's all stuffed. It's all. Do people not understand this? And this is what I get frustrated with, when you have some people that go, "Oh, it's not all that bad. What about all the good things? Oh yeah, brilliant. What are all the good things? You tell me." All those things that I listed out, and that's not even doing a deep dive on that stuff. That's just, we all know that it takes a week or so to get an appointment for the NHS. We all know that there's probably a fair chance that it'll be rescheduled. We all know if you want to get into a dentist, Jiminy Crickets, you got to book like 2 months in advance. We all know that council tax is going up and up and up and up and up. We all know that tax is going up and up and up and up. We all know that the economy's shrinking. We all know that, the defence is aging and becoming essentially non-existent. We're essentially sitting ducks. And how does that make you feel? To me, it just doesn't make me feel. Why? It would not take much, I think, to rock up on the shores of obviously people do it every day. We know that happens. I'm not going to go into that. But it wouldn't take much for an organised army of people to surround and arrive on the shores of the UK and essentially take over. Would it take that much? What would happen? Do we have the infrastructure to do anything about it? I don't think we do. But anyway, listen, that's my thoughts. I think we're sitting ducks. What do you think? Do you think everything's all right? Everything's tickety-boo? Do you think that we are in a bad state? Obviously, where does the money come? That's the next question. Next question is, if you don't think we're safe and if you think we need to up the defensive spend, where does that money come? How can you physically tax us anymore? Okay, you might not be able to tax the majority of people because the majority of people are on benefits and stuff like that. But you know, us, the working people, how do you tax us any more than what you're doing at the moment? We're already the highest tax-paying people across the world. So where do you get this money from? Yeah, what are your thoughts? Do you think we're in a good place defense-wise? Do you think that our equipment is great and we would have no problems in defending ourselves? Get your thoughts down below. Again, I say this all the time of late, but it is massively important to document your thoughts, because whilst it might seem trivial and it might just seem, well, it's only YouTube, but you know, this is an area that people do stand up and take notice of, and if we can document these views in this channel, look, even if you think I'm wrong, by all means, if you are 100% the other way and you think, Jiminy Crickets, we're all doing really well, I don't know why this guy keeps complaining about things, I'm doing amazingly, by all means, put it in the comments, document it, because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are with regards to why and how and what makes us such a great place, if that's what you feel. But yeah, get your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. It really does help me out. And yeah, I look forward to reading your comments. This is Roger Roadside saying ciao for now. Ciao for now. I just had to hold on to that note until I was stationary. Thank you, bye.